Nokia, the once household name in the phone industry, just made a comeback a few years ago. And while everyone loves Nokia phones for their durability, the Nokia 6.1 Plus tries a different approach. The name Nokia is trusted by many, but does the Nokia 6.1 Plus bring enough to get a seat on the already full table of mid-range smartphones? Let's find out. As usual, first, let's talk about the design. This phone has a glass back sandwiched in an aluminum frame. The glass body feels premium in the hands with just the right weight. It also feels sturdy, but I think Nokia is moving away from its origins. Now Nokia phones are known for their durability and build quality. I mean, their phones are built to last. If you hold a Nokia 7 Plus in your hands, you'll know what I'm talking about. But glass on the Nokia 6.1 cannot be as durable as metal, can it? Or even plastic for that matter. However, in other aspects, the phone does well. Its small form factor makes it quite easy to hold, and this phone does feel premium. The phone has a dual camera at the back, which very slightly protrudes out, but it won't be that much of a problem. There's a fingerprint scanner underneath it with the Nokia logo. There's also the Android One logo mentioning that it is a stock Android platform. Good thing you can still find a headphone jack on it. Also, another good thing is that it has a USB-C port, and beside it there's a single speaker grill. The speaker quality is like any other mid-range phone, above average, but the sounds don't get distorted even in high volume levels, which is nice. The glass back, like any other glass back, attracts quite a lot of finger smudges. It's also quite slippery, so if you're one of those who uses their phone a lot while laying down, be careful not to let it slip. I've had quite a few instances of this one dropping on me, so you have to be careful. But with its small form factor and ergonomic design, it fits in your hand quite well, and while other companies are making their phones larger, Nokia 6.1 Plus brings something new to the menu. But even with all of that, this Nokia phone does not feel like a Nokia anymore. Up front, you get a 5.inch IPS LCD display with full HD resolution. Now the 5.inch screen might be small by today's standards, but for a small form factor and ergonomic design, it seems like a worthy sacrifice. I don't mind the small difference in screen size between this phone and the others. The display is protected by Gorilla Glass 3 and has a small notch up top. There are no LED notification lights, which is a bummer. Now for me, the LED lights are the most underrated features in a smartphone. You only realize their importance when you don't have them. Also, there's a chin at the bottom with the Nokia logo on it. I don't know why they did this, as the logo is at the back as well. If this wasn't there, we probably could have gotten a slightly larger screen. But the small screen makes for a better pixel density. With about 430 ppi of pixel density, the display is crisp and vibrant. The colors look pretty good, and it has good sunlight legibility as well. Next up, the cameras. The Nokia 6.1 Plus features a dual camera at the back and a single selfie camera up front, which seems to be today's standard. The rear camera setup consists of a 16 megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. In terms of images, the camera is slightly above average. In daylight or good lighting environments, the images will impress you. Colors come out punchy, vibrant, and the details are well preserved. The HDR features also does a pretty good job. Low-light images, on the other hand, are not very pleasing. They gather considerable amount of noise and lose details. Colors appear washed out, and it gives you the impression of a low-quality camera. The portrait mode on this camera, known as the live bokeh here, is just average as well. You can set the level of depth effect before you take the pictures, but the edge detection is a hit or a miss. The subject in the images get a good focus, but it suffers in border areas, and sometimes some aspects in the background get focused unintentionally while ignoring some parts of the subject. Bokeh mode in low light is a straight no, but bokeh mode is not meant for low lighting environments anyway. As for selfies, it's the same story as well. Under well lighting conditions, it produces impressive results, while it struggles to gather details in low light. However, the software-based bokeh portrait in the front camera impressed me more than the rear ones, as its detection just seemed better in selfies. The screen flash also makes up for the absence of front flash in selfies. The beauty mode does a good job in both front and back and does not overstep the facial features like in those some Vivo or Oppo phones. The phone is also capable of recording 4K videos, but with no image stabilization, the applicability of this feature seems pretty limited. Also, the video quality in normal mode is subpar. There's slow motion on it as well, but the quality of the slow-mo videos is aggressively average. The dual sight feature also makes its appearance here as well. This means you can take pictures and record videos with the rear and the front camera simultaneously. But if you ask me, I don't see the point of this. What are you going to do with those pictures anyway? If you have any idea, please let me know in the comments. The camera interface is also not as simple as I'd like it to be. You have to really get inside the camera UI to access all the features. Now this may not be a big deal for some, but when you're used to simpler camera interfaces, it is a bit off-putting. Overall, the performance of the cameras greatly depend on the light, but with some added features here and there, this places the cameras on the above average section of the shelf. Under the hood, this phone is powered by a Snapdragon 636 chipset. Now this chip falls under the mid-range section and the phone performs accordingly. With 4GB of RAM, browsing through everyday tasks is breezy enough. The transitions are smooth, but it will take some time to open heavy apps. It handles almost everything you throw at it, browsing the web, social media apps, light gaming, etc. Multitasking is also smooth enough to some extent, but it cannot keep the apps open for a long time in the background. As for gaming, the phone handles its own. Asphalt 9 ran quite smoothly without any stutters or dropped frames and in medium graphic settings. PUBG 2 is playable in low settings and low frame rates, but without any stutters or lags. Yes, loading time is considerably long, but once you get through that, you won't face any problems while playing. On top of it, the Android One OS is a bliss. Android One is Google's platform for certain phones with which you can get a clean and fluid software, the genuine stock Android experience. Google's own AI features and security features are embedded into it. Plus, there's no bloatware and soft nifty features like ambient display that turns the screen on when you get notifications. Also, you can pick up the phone to see if you have any notifications, which makes up for the absence of LED lights. The fingerprint sensor at the back is fast and reliable too. Now it's not as fast as some other phones, but half a second of difference is barely noticeable, is it? But the same can't be said for its facial recognition feature, which is purely software. I mean, there are other software-based facial recognition features in other phones, but they do a better job than this one. The facial recognition takes some time, even under favorable lighting conditions, and you have to swipe up to fully unlock once your face is recognized. But in its defense, this is Android's smart lock feature and not the phone's facial recognition security feature itself. The one thing that does seem like a problem is that the screen gets unresponsive at times. Sometimes you can't press certain parts on the screen and the buttons don't really work. And this is more annoying while taking pictures, as it is present in the camera app as well. Now, I wouldn't have thought much of this had I not faced various losses in PUBG due to the same problem. Now, I don't know if this is a problem with my review unit, or if you have faced similar problems, do let me know in the comments. On the storage side of things, it has a 64GB internal storage with a micro SD card slot as well, which uses the second SIM slot. As for the battery, it has a 3060 mAh unit, which is not as per the standards of 2018. However, given its small screen, the battery does last. It may be the stock Android optimization too, but the battery doesn't disappoint. With a full charge, you can get through the day in normal usage. This phone also supports fast charging with Quick Charge 3.0, but it does not come with a quick charger in the box. I find this to be very unusual and Apple-like, but it is what it is. To sum it up, I'd like to call this a very practical device. Its compact size and ergonomic design combined with a good screen size and aspect ratio sets it apart from those large phones you get these days. And also the battery lasts, the display is vibrant, plus the Android optimization is a bliss, and with this you also get timely updates. Cameras do need some improvements in a few areas, and plus it'd be better if they could optimize the camera UI with future software updates. Performance too is good enough for a normal user, but I personally think that Nokia going with a glass back is kind of moving away from its direction. Now, a glass back phone is totally not built to last, which has kind of been the major focus of Nokia. Also, the most depressing thing about the phone is its price. Now, internationally, it is supposed to be a budget phone costing some $250 in the US and $16,000 in the Indian markets. And considering its specs for that price, it's actually a good buy for the Indian market. Now, that should have been able to put this phone around 30,000 in Nepal, and it might have been actually worth for that price. But no, the price is a whopping 37,635 here. And that, my friends, is enough for me to decide not to get this phone. There are so many options available out there in that price segment, and even if you do want Android One experience, you have the Mi A2, which is more powerful than this. The Nokia 6.1 Plus is a good smartphone but weighed down by its exorbitant pricing. So unless the price goes down, I'd advise you to think twice before you get this phone. It's that simple. So what do you think of this phone? Do let us know below in the comments, and thank you for watching. Until then, I'm Johnson for Gadget Byte signing off.